Hello! This is my studio update for October, and I've left this calendar to the very last minute. In fact, it is the 1st of November when this video goes up, but I'm just going to do this today as a start, and then I'll move on to some other things that happened. October has been absolute mayhem. I apologise for not being on camera today, but I am really tired, and facing the camera today was just too much for me. I'm introverting big time right now. Anyway, I just thought I'd start off with a little picture. Someone had posted up a picture of a kitten in a cauldron, and I just thought it was ridiculously adorable. It's on the Facebook reference photo page, but my kitten did not turn out quite as well as that. Oh gosh, I'd left this to the last minute, so I was very tired and I couldn't get the eyes right. They're too close together here. It looks more like a dog than a cat, I think, but whatever. It was just a little sketch, and I did end up going over this with pen and also some coloured pencil. I decided October would just be inside the cauldron with the witch's brew. I'm using a black rollerball pen to outline everything. It's got waterproof ink. I was going to paint it, but in the end I decided to go with coloured pencils instead. Though I was kind of regretting that decision because the paper's actually cold press and it does have quite a lot of texture. So, of course, whenever you colour coloured pencil onto textured paper, it leaves white bits of the paper on there, and you have to do multiple layers in order to get rid of that. And of course, that was way too much effort for me. So mine is not exactly fully rendered, I'm afraid, today. But I do think it turned out kind of cute, and I had changed the eyes a little bit with the pen, but it's still a bit wonky. Never mind, it's about as good as I'm going to get today. And I grabbed Derwent Light Fast pencils because those were the first that came to hand. I'm also having a technical issue with my computer. This morning I plugged in the USB cable to transfer some new video files for a video that I'm planning to put out hopefully later this week, but my computer may have other ideas because it has popped up with a USB device not recognised, and I cannot figure out what is going on. I've turned everything off and on again. I've tried a couple of different devices and none of them are picking up. I think it's either the USB port or the cable that's decided to stop working. Thankfully, my microphone is plugged into the USB and that's still going, otherwise I would not have been able to record this either. Oh my gosh, I'm stressing out a little bit this morning because I really hope I can fix it. I think I'm going to just have to wait for Nick to come home because he's usually a bit better than I am with these things. Otherwise, it might have to go in to be repaired. I don't really know. I am trying to troubleshoot it online, but the instructions are just so ambiguous and I don't know what I'm doing, so I think I'll wait for someone who's a bit smarter with these things to come home. So I really hope I'm going to have a video later in the week. I think I'll have to just do it on my laptop. I'm pretty sure that's still going, although that had issues too. It's like everything just has to break at the same time. I used a pink highlighter for the background here. It was sitting on my desk and I just thought it would be cute. It needed something in the background, and I've got a gold pen to go over Witch's Brew, and I'm just finishing with some little whiskers here. And then I decided to colour the kitten's eyes in with a green pencil combination. You can kind of tell it's unfinished because it's just nowhere near as rendered as I would have liked. I went over everything with a white pencil just to try and blend it all together a bit better and get rid of some of the roughness of that black pencil. It kind of came out okay. I decided this was as much as I was doing on it. So it's kind of an unfinished sketch. It's alright, not the best thing I've ever done, but at least I was able to finally finish that October calendar picture. So, you might be wondering why I've been so busy. Let me explain. In early October, we went to see the Swedish metal band Ghost. It was packed. There were at least 10,000 people there. It was a really big concert, and it was amazing. We had such a good time. They were so good. Here's some of my really shoddy phone footage. I only filmed a little bit of it with no audio because that would get me a copyright strike very quickly, but we were sitting to one side. If I was 20 years younger, I probably would have wanted to be standing down in that crowd, but there's no way I'm doing that now. I'm way too old and anxious for that. But it was just good to be sitting and we could see the whole stage from where we were. It was a massive crowd, but everyone was so well behaved, like you wouldn't believe it. And it was just a great view from where we were sitting over to the stage. They brought all of their props with them, so it was a really big concert, and I'm so glad we went to it. I also put some of my memorabilia into my journal. And that is going to be my next video, hopefully flipping through that whole journal, because I finished it, yay! But now we come to the main reason why I've been so busy. A few days after the concert, we went to the airport to pick up my mum. She flew over from New Zealand for 3 weeks, and we did quite a lot together in that time. My husband Nick also took the first week off from work, and we went out and about around Melbourne to some lovely gardens, and also to the Tesla Tulip Festival, which happened to be going on at the same time. It was in its last week, so I think the best of the tulips had already happened, but the tickets were cheaper than normal, and also there were some really pretty ones on display, so it wasn't a total bust. The weather on this particular day was stunning, and because not all of the tulips were flowering at this time, they actually gave out free tickets for their next year's display, so I'm sure Nick and I will be back to see that. I've been to the Tesla Festival a few times, although it had been quite a few years since I'd been, and this was Mum's first time as well. I just love all of the different colours that they have on display. They look really beautiful when they're together. And if you're in Melbourne, the Tesla Tulip Festival is really worth going to see, but I would recommend going maybe a little earlier to see the bulk of the flower display. But it was a lovely day out with 2 of my favourite people. We also went to a Papercraft show, and this is all of the footage I got because I totally forgot to film while I was in there. I was too busy looking at all of the stalls. I've been really into papercrafts lately. I'm sure I'll talk about that in a later video as well. It was also my birthday, and thank you to all of the birthday wishes that you guys gave me. I really appreciate that. I had a lovely cake, and then the following day was Mum's birthday, so we did it all again. That whole weekend we just spent quality time together, and it was a lovely visit. She has headed home now, so I'm going to show you some of the things I bought at the Papercraft Festival, because you know I wasn't leaving there empty-handed. I can see these spongy blending tools having a multitude of uses in the studio, so I grabbed some of them. They were really cheap. I picked up a couple of distress inks to use with the sponges because they're quite nice, and you can make the edges of paper look really vintage. I did pick up some paints, these 4 metallic ones in different shades of gold from dark to light. I used that platinum white gold on my Halloween project that I just did, in case you're wondering which paint that was. There it is! This packet of flower and butterfly cutouts was too cute to resist. I could stick those on all sorts of things, and I already have. I'll probably show that in a future video too. There's all the butterflies underneath. And then I chose other papers and cards that looked really pretty. These ones you can cut out and stick onto things. I'm not into card making or anything, but I do like putting them in a journal. These were in a bargain bin, so I just snapped those up. I'm sure I'll do something with them eventually. And then there was a card making station, so I did these too. But it was really hard because the lady was watching everyone, and I just cannot do things when I'm being watched. But I'm probably going to peel all of those off and use them for other things anyway. This paper I just had to have because it's all art related. There are some really lovely and appealing designs in here. I also like the colour palette. I don't even know what I'm going to do with this paper. It's probably going to take me a while to get up the courage to actually pull it out and use it, cut it up, things like that. But it was just too pretty to resist, and I had to come home with it. I think there's an even larger version in a 12 by 12 size, but I got this in I think a 6 by 6. Or is it 8 by 8? I don't know, but sometimes I just like to flip through papers like this. It gives me ideas for paintings and it's just inspirational, but I think that's one of the favourite things I picked up for the day. I also chose some larger papers, made in New Zealand, would you believe? I liked the purple gothic witchy look of that one, and then I had to choose something that was red. These are also really pretty, and then my third one I went for fairies and unicorns. I don't know why, it just really appealed to me. I don't know what I'm going to do with these papers, but the pictures are really lovely. I left them in the plastic because there's no way I was going to get them back into it once I took them out. And I'm just testing out some of the supplies here. I've got these 2 distress inks, just using a stamp with it. This one is a dusky rose. It's quite pale, but it is quite nice on the edge of paper. And then this other one is vintage photograph, which I'm using with that same stamp. And I'll get that on there eventually. There we go, that's a much darker brown. I really like the sepia tone to it. And then I think the idea with these spongy things is you pick up some of the ink, which doesn't look like there's much. It takes a bit of time to build it up, and then you can just smudge it out onto the paper. or give the edges of the paper a vintage look like what I'm doing here to demonstrate. It just takes away the white off the paper when you're cutting things out and it looks nicer. I don't know, I've seen other YouTubers doing it and I thought it was a good idea. I guess I decided I was going to demonstrate the pink colour as well, so I'll put that on the corner of the paper here. This is just one of my cheap sketchbooks, nothing that matters too much, and a good way just to test out a few supplies. I do like that pinkish look, it will go with some of my pink papers I guess. And now I'm just going to paint out some of these lovely shiny paints, so you can see them on white paper and also black, and inevitably there's a stupid thing on the inside that has to come off with half the paint on it, so I'll just take off the paint from that and then I'll chuck it in the bin. It's just an acrylic paint, but it's quite opaque and you can see how much it shines in the light. It's really lovely. It worked quite well on the white paper, but especially on the black, so I will be looking forward to using these more in future videos. I don't need much of an excuse to use shiny gold paints. I usually find a way to incorporate them somewhere. So yes, this whole month has just been a flurry of activity. I've been out a lot. I haven't been able to spend as much time as I normally would in the studio. It's thrown my schedule out completely, and I always find that quite difficult to cope with because I like to have routine and to do similar things on most days. But yeah, October was just bedlam. Though I did really enjoy spending quality time with my mother because it has been quite a few years since we've actually spent this much time together. Like last year when I saw her briefly in New Zealand, it was only for about 4 or 5 days, whereas this was 3 solid weeks, and yes, by the end of it, my energy levels are at an all-time low. It was totally worth it, but I definitely just want to get back into my working schedule. Look at this stunningly beautiful yellow gold. That is so gorgeous. I love it. And I'm really glad I picked up all 4 of these. They go together really well as a light to dark gold colour palette. Aside from the videos that I'd filmed for the month of October, I also really didn't do very much art at all. I just didn't have the energy for it, mentally that is, and so I'm really hoping just to get back into the swing of things this month. My sketchbooks have been a little bit neglected, but I will go back to those eventually. And I have a few video ideas planned, so we shall see what November brings. Here's this last gold. It's more of a bronze colour really, but it just finishes off that light to dark palette, and I like them all, but definitely the yellow gold is my absolute favourite. And now we have to pick up everything and do the shiny test, just to see them all reflecting in the light. Isn't that gorgeous? They are so metallic. It looks like they use a very fine mica pigment in there, but yeah, love them so much. Really glad I picked them up. They were kind of expensive, but I think they're going to be worth it. And I have a few other items to show you which I got for my birthday, either as gifts or I might have bought for myself. My mum bought the tool organizer from the Papercraft show and gave it to me on my birthday. It has a bunch of clear plastic pouches inside with zippers. This one even comes apart from it and it's like a little pencil case, which is quite nice. I'm sure I'm going to fill this up with all sorts of stuff. I can never have too much storage, it seems. I'm always looking for pencil cases. And this one I am going to definitely keep for my paper crafting, which is in my office rather than studio. Nick bought me this adorable little teapot from a vintage store. It is so cute. I think it is a vintage collectible and I just love it so much. I don't think I'll use it as an actual teapot, but it is on display in my studio. I just think it's really cute, and it still has the tag on it. I can't remember who it's by. Tony Carter, there you go, made in England. I haven't done any research on this yet, but I must do. It had a minor accident. This piece is supposed to be stuck on there. You can see the glue. It has come off from somewhere. We can't figure it out. I think it's meant to sit there, but I'm not entirely sure, so I need to look it up online to see if I can find it, and then I can glue it back together. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It's still cute even without the paint tubes, but I might put them on anyway. I got these from Kiki K because I had some birthday vouchers. They're just little pens. I can never have too many of these. I've actually run out of pens recently, so I needed a few more. I usually keep these sorts of things in my office as well. for writing notes when I'm at the computer. I saw this mini paint pad in Teapot, and those are little paint pellets on the paper itself, like the Viviva sheets. Though I realised later that they've used the same paints for every single page, which is kind of annoying, but I might look at this later on. Oh, and my mum bought me these little Halloween sticker flakes when we were in Daiso. They're so cute. There's cats and dogs and other animals. I mean, how could I resist those? She'd seen me looking at them, and she put them in her basket to give to me on my birthday. We usually give each other lots of little gifts. Also at Daiso were these cute papers because I need more of those, but I really love those pansy ones with the gold outlines. I know I will use them in something. I actually found this brush pen ages ago in a bookshop, so I need to get that out and use it. Yes, I'll put that to one side. I bought myself this because you probably know I collect these sticker books. This is their latest one, which is Forests, Fairies and Fungi. And I'll just flip through this a little bit so you can see some of the sticker pages that are in here. I find it really hard to use them, but once I've peeled a couple of stickers out, then it's not so difficult. It's peeling that first sticker out and marring the perfection of the book, which is really difficult to do. I really enjoy adding stickers to my sketchbooks though, and sometimes if I'm really stuck for ideas, I'll look through a sticker book and draw the pictures that I see. So there's lots of good reference images here for fungi as well as animals, and I think there are some birds in here too. There's also some fairies at the back of the book. I'm not into those so much, but I'm sure I'll find a use for them somewhere, maybe in some more Victoriana kind of pictures. A lot of the stickers I have are Victorian style anyway. But it's another one to add to the collection, and I'll put that on my shelf with the other books that I have. I've already managed to get something sticky on it. I'm so annoyed about that. I'll have to get some rubbing alcohol to take that off. What do I have next? Oh yes, my mum did this diamond painting. I'd actually sent her the kit a few years ago, and she did it all and has given me the finished product because I really love the rainbow giraffe. I'm going to have to find a frame for it and hang it somewhere in the house. It's such a colourful picture. I have actually painted black around the edges of it, and then she also made me this one, which is a gorgeous pastel dragon. That's also going to need a frame, and I have painted black around those edges as well, which I did after filming all of this, and you can't see it. And then my mum also gave me this, a beautiful looking box. Very vintage and steampunk looking, although it is a modern item. And when I open it up, let's see what's inside because it's really lovely. It's a stunningly beautiful calligraphy pen set. I love this so much, and I can't wait to use it. I might do a little video actually drawing with the pen. It's been a while since I've used a dip pen, so I'm a bit rusty, but it comes with the nib, some ink in black, and also some spare nibs up the top there. There was another nib in here which Mum said was just randomly in there, and she doesn't think it actually belongs to the box, but it's there. I might be able to attach it to this pen or a different one. It's really heavy too. It's got a pewter finish, and I just think it is such a wonderful present. Thank you so much to my mum for giving it to me. Nick also bought me this by the company Loz, which is like Lego. It's an elf treehouse, and I cannot wait to put this together. It's going to take ages. I've been really into these Loz mini brick things, and I've been putting a whole bunch of them together, mostly little flowers and that little cactus with the moustache. They're so cute. I like them, I think, even more than Lego. They're a lot smaller than Lego, and so they are way more fiddly, but I often spend time at the end of the day just putting some blocks together. I find it very relaxing. Nick got me into it because he really likes Lego. There's a Lego succulents there, and then my most recent one is a pumpkin Halloween house. I think that is so adorable. It took quite a long time because there was so much orange in it. And I have a second Halloween one. It is a witch's house. I'm working on that as we speak. I don't even know if I'm going to have finished this by Halloween, but that's what it looks like on the box. A lot of purple in this one. But that's all I have for today. I can't actually get my finishing footage off the camera, so here's a few photos of my cats being adorable. Thank you so much for watching this. I really hope to be back to my normal schedule as soon as possible. Keep your fingers crossed that I can fix my computer issue so I can have a video up for the weekend. And in the meantime, check out these two videos. I'll hopefully see you all again really soon in my next video. Swatch you later. Bye!